Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. So today I have a different kind of video for you guys. This is a video of purely just commentary and it's me talking about real things and real issues. And this is like a new series that I basically started on this channel where I talk about issues in real life and I think things that relate to online. And a few of these videos that I've already done is I've done one where I talked about my time in retail. I talked about how horrible that was and just advice for people that work in retail. And then I did a video giving people advice on people that have to work in group projects and how oftentimes those can just turn into disasters. This video, we're going to be talking about these greedy YouTubers and these greedy Twitch streamers who basically guilt trip their audience and demand donations. I will be addressing every single one of their points. I will not be using a script for this video, so you guys will just be hearing it straight from the heart. The only thing I have on my computer is I just have a bullet point list where I just have the important points that I want to go over, but I'm going to be speaking everything from the heart here. But basically, I'm going to be addressing all of these arguments. So a lot of these greedy YouTubers and these greedy Twitch streamers, when they guilt trip their audience, they use a lot of these false, arguments. And I will be addressing all of them. I will be proving them wrong. And I will be, showing basically how stupid and incompetent and greedy these people are. And if you encounter in these greedy YouTubers who, demand donations from you, then, send them this video. Probably won't watch it. Or what you could do is you could just in their stream chat, basically type up my response to their arguments, which I highly doubt they're gonna listen to it. Also, they might even ban you. But also, I want to thank everybody who supported me through Patreons, channel memberships, super chats, and super thanks since the previous channel update video that I made. So I want to thank you guys for that. Thank you guys for the support. It does mean a lot to me. I always appreciate every single donation. So thank you guys. You guys help me out a lot. I do really appreciate it. And I also want to thank my moderators. I want to thank my moderators who help my channel and help me during moderate stream chats. You guys are awesome. There's a lot of comments on the streams, and so I greatly appreciate the help. Thank you guys for helping me out with that. Everybody will be up on the screen right here. But anyways, in this video, what really pushed me to make this video, the reason that I wanted to talk about this subject specifically, is because I just see so many comments on my videos, I see so many comments on my streams, and basically the comments I typically see of just people saying, and I feel bad when I read these comments, but basically people like say, for example, it's like, Professional, I'm sorry, I can't donate right now at the moment, or like somebody will be saying, for example, they'll say they'll give me a donation and then they'll be like, I'm sorry, I can't donate more at the moment, Professional, this is all I can give. And when I read those comments, I kind of feel bad, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, you guys don't have to apologize to me. I don't know. I always appreciate every single donation. So when people give me a donation, I appreciate it tremendously. Every single donation, even if it's $1, I always appreciate it because you guys don't have to give me anything. You are not obligated to give me anything, and I always appreciate it. But it does make me feel bad when sometimes I read these comments of people just saying like, I'm sorry that I can't donate more. Well, don't apologize. Stop apologizing. I'm gonna say that to everybody who comes to my videos and just says like, sorry that I can't donate. Don't apologize to me for that. You don't have to donate. You don't have to. There is no obligation to donate. You don't have to donate anything to me. And you don't have to donate to me for me to read your comments. I read as many comments as I can on live streams. The reason I read super chats first on live streams is because, they're bright, they appear quickly, and also because the person donated. So I want to, respond to them really quickly. But I read as many comments as I can. So don't think that just because you don't donate that I'm not going to read your comment. I read as many comments as I can. That's what people love about my streams is I just go down the list and I read as many comments as I can. And if you do donate to me, also, don't apologize at the same time, too. No matter what amount you give me, I always appreciate any amount. So any amount that you give me, I tremendously appreciate that. And I don't want people apologizing to me. I don't want people telling me I'm sorry for this. I always appreciate it. I will not look down on you for, not donating to me. You can watch me for years and never donate to me. I will never look down on you, okay? So I just want to make that clear to people the option to donate is there, but I have never asked for a donation. You can go on my streams for years, ever since I started streaming. I have never once asked for a donation. The option is there, but I've never done it. And the reason I've never asked for donations is because I don't believe in it. I believe that my philosophy personally when it comes to donations and super chats is I believe that people give you a donation when they like you as a person and they like the type of content that you make and they want to help support your channel. They're going to do it on your own. I don't believe in pressuring subscribers or demanding, donations from subscribers because a YouTuber is not entitled to any kind of donations. People give donations when they like your channel. And so I cannot stand these greedy YouTubers and these greedy Twitch streamers that guilt trip their audience. They try to make their audience feel bad for them, and then they try to get their audience to basically donate to them. Or what they will do is they'll demand, they will demand donations from their audience. And I will basically be going over all of their arguments, and I'll breaking them down. But I'll tell you guys, the only time I have ever asked for donations ever on my channel is when I do charity streams. That is the only time I ever do ask for donations, and that really doesn't count because it's towards charities. And I'm doing a charity stream actually this Sunday, so tomorrow. But I do charity streams, 2 times a year, one in the middle of the year, in the summertime, and then one in the holidays. And during the charity streams, I always donate hundreds of my own dollars live, and I always ask people, during the streams, I said, if everybody can give $1, at least that'll help. And I don't think there's really anything wrong with that, asking people to donate during charities, because if it's going to a charity. But speaking of charities, is the only type of charities that I would personally donate to on YouTube is the ones that are linked directly to YouTube. So when you see that YouTube giving thing, YouTube does a lot of stupid things, but one good thing that YouTube has done is that YouTube giving, I would say, I'm going to call it, YouTube giving service. I would say it's when you see those when you see those charities links directly to videos, you will see like fundraiser, for example. So when you see fundraiser directly under the videos, that those donations go directly to the charity. They never go to the YouTuber. They go directly to the charity. The YouTuber basically has nothing to do with that. And it's also, YouTube does not take a fee from that. They don't take a fee from that. But that's basically, so people know, is the safest place to donate is when it's for YouTube giving. And I don't want to pressure people here to donating to charities. The only thing I'm saying is that, when I do charity streams, I'm not very pushy, but I just ask people during the charity streams, like if everybody can just donate $1, it'll help tremendously. But that's about it. That's the only time I think it's really acceptable ever to ask for a donation, when you're doing a charity stream, because it's not for you, it's for helping others. And you're trying to promote a good cause. That's it. But when these YouTubers, when they demand donations from their audience and they guilt trip their audience, that's just something else, and that's just disgusting. But anyways, let me go over these things. So to start off here, we're going to talk about guilt tripping YouTubers. Now, what are guilt tripping YouTubers and guilt tripping Twitch streamers? Guilt trippers are basically people that will try to make you feel bad for them. What a guilt tripper basically is a guilt tripper is somebody who will try to they'll try to get you to do something for them without directly asking for it. So basically what a guilt-tripping YouTuber might do is a guilt-tripping YouTuber might basically say, they might say, oh, I'm in a financial trouble right now, I'm doing really bad, can you guys donate to me? And if you guys don't help me out right now, I might lose my home, I might lose my car, my apartment, stuff like that. Like, you guys want me to, go homeless. You guys gotta donate to me right now. And so what this does is this puts a lot of pressure on the viewers, and the viewers start feeling bad, and they start thinking, oh, maybe I can donate to him. Maybe or him or her. Maybe I can help them out, because if I don't, they are going to go homeless, they're going to lose their money. And here's what I will say to this is extremely scummy, and there are YouTubers who will guilt trip their audience for years. So they'll say the same exact thing, and there's actually one YouTuber that I'll actually react to a little bit later who does this, where they guilt trip their audience, and they've been doing the same thing for years. So they're gonna run out of money anytime soon, but they've been doing it apparently for years now. So they just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And basically, the guilt trippers, for me personally, in my opinion, they're even worse than the YouTubers who demand donations. The reason both of them are scummy. Both the YouTubers who demand donations and the YouTubers who guilt trip are both scummy. But the reason the guilt trippers are more scummier is because the YouTubers who demand donations, at least they're showing their true selves. They're showing that they're scumbags, but you're able to see it right there. They're demanding donations from you. The guilt trippers, on the other hand, they're trying to prey on your good nature. They're trying to make you feel bad for them, and they're trying to basically trick you into donating for them. But I will basically go over that when I react to them. But basically, these YouTubers, they will say the same thing. They'll say, I have bills to pay, I have bills to pay, I have rent to pay, I have a car payment to pay, I have a mortgage to pay, I'm in financial trouble right now, help me out. My response to that is, the only person responsible for your financial situation is yourself. And you have absolutely no right to put that on your viewers. And I cannot stand that. It's like, why is it your responsibility to pay a YouTuber's bills. Why is that exactly? Or a Twitch streamer's bills? Why is that your responsibility? That is not your responsibility. I don't see how it could be anybody's responsibility, but these YouTubers, they basically say that, oh, I'm in financial trouble right now, I have a lot of debt. Well, you took the debt, you took the mortgage, you did this and that. That is on you. That's ultimately on you. I'm not trying to sound cruel when I say this, but it's ultimately on them. And them trying to put their financial problems directly onto their audience and trying to make their audience feel bad for them to try to get donations from them. That's just scummy and that's just disgusting. It's like they are the ones who are responsible for their financial situation and they should clean it up. They should do something about that. And what I will say about this is if you are a YouTuber and you're in a financial situation, my question for you is, what are you doing exactly? It's like, if you are not making enough money for YouTube, then why are you not working a job? Why are you not working another job besides YouTube? Why don't you try to look for some other work? People can just download DoorDash or Uber Eats on their phones and they can start doing that. But I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why these YouTubers and these Twitch streamers don't do that. Do you know why? They guilt trip their audience. They say, oh, I'm in debt. You have to, help me pay off my debt. But the reason they don't actually go and get a job is because in their eyes, they're too good for that. It's like, oh, I'm too good for that. I can't work a 9-to-5 job. I'm too good for that. I have thousands of subscribers. I can't do that. I can't go to a store and I can't, work there. I can't be a delivery driver. I can't go work in a factory. I can't go work in a warehouse. I can't do all of this stuff. It's like, I'm just going to do YouTube because that's all I am is, those jobs are beneath me. And then they will just complain about their financial situation. That is basically it, is these YouTubers, they refuse to work other jobs. And the thing, and this is basically my advice to people, when people tell me, how can I get a job as a YouTuber? I see a lot of those comments. My response to that is never go into YouTube expecting it to be your job. Go into YouTube as a hobby, something that you like, something that you love doing. And I'll be honest with you guys, YouTube also takes a bit of luck. For every single channel growing at the start, once channels start getting a steady amount of views, it takes more skill to grow, but at the start, it kind of takes more luck, because you got to get lucky, recognized by the algorithm. But once you start growing and you get a steady audience, at that point you can, see how much money am I making from YouTube? Is it worth, quitting my job and just doing YouTube? But just going into just YouTube and expecting just to do YouTube as your only thing, that is not really I would say a viable thing, because YouTube income is also extremely unstable and extremely volatile. When my YouTube channel started growing in 2017, 2018, and then, really took off in 2019, I was actually working a job in retail. So I was working in a store as a store associate, just stocking shelves at the exact same time when I was actually doing those GTA Top 5 videos. And I was, doing videos on After Hours DLC. I was doing videos on Arena Wars, and I was doing videos on the casino, for example. At that exact time, I was actually working as a store associate because I was just trying to get extra money, working also in retail. So I would do, multiple things. And at the same time, I was also going to college. I was getting, a bachelor's degree in law enforcement technology. But the point that I'm getting at here is that, I had other forms of income. There was other things that I was doing to make money. And what I don't understand about these YouTubers is, why don't you, try to get another form of income? Why don't you try to do something else? Instead, they just basically want to sit there. They just want to make videos, and then they want to guilt trip their audience and constantly demand stuff from their audience. And I will say this, is when I'm going on my next point here, but this is relevant to this, is the next argument is when people say, my videos get demonetized, YouTube is unstable income. Well, no crap, YouTube is really unstable income, it is. And I'll tell you something, I make a lot less on YouTube than what I did, years ago. My best year was 2019. That was definitely my best year. I do, worse on YouTube now. I don't do bad. I still do really amazing. I'm about to hit 1,100,000 subscribers. But the point that I'm getting at is I'm not as big as I used to be. Sure, I might have more subscribers, but I don't have as much views as I used to back in the day. But for me, that's totally fine. I don't go crazy with it. I don't, stress about it. Sure, everybody would like more views, but I don't go crazy over that. And I'm happy doing what I do right now. And one of the reasons that my channel actually, got down in views was because I started expanding my channel away from GT Online. I started doing other things. I started doing playthroughs. I started doing lore videos. I started doing crazy current event videos. I started streaming other games. And so, that drove down my views, but it made me happy because I was able to expand my channel and I was able to do other things. So I was really enjoying what I was doing. And I didn't mind, the pay cut. I didn't mind the views going down. It was just, it was what it was. It's just, I followed my dreams and I wanted to do, what I wanted to do. And I want to thank everybody for, always, supporting me and, staying with me. You guys are awesome. But the point that I'm getting at here is that These YouTubers, for them, the ones who, guilt trip their audiences, talk about donations, it's nothing but money, 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 money. That's really all they think about. And I'll tell you guys this. When I made a decent amount of money on YouTube, 2019, that was like I said, my best year. But do you know what I did with that money that I got from YouTube? I didn't spend it on dumb crap. I didn't. I didn't go around, buying cars. I didn't go around, buying tons of expensive clothes. I have had the exact same car for 8 years at this point. So I've literally had the exact same car for 8 years. Even before my YouTube channel was taken off, I've never, bought another car because I didn't feel that I needed to. I don't want to, spend my money on dumb crap. So whenever I got money, I always saved it. I wasn't like cheap or anything, but I would always save my money and I would just save it for a rainy day. Because the way I would always look at it, whenever I got money, my personal philosophy, the way I looked at it, is I basically thought to myself, how can I invest this money so I can get more money in the future? And I always thought, where am I going to be like 10 years from now? Where am I going to be? But these YouTubers, they don't look at it that way. The second they get their big YouTube check from their AdSense revenue, like once a month, they basically say, oh yeah, now it's party time and cars. That's basically what they think of. And so they start spending this on parties, on cars, jewelry, all this expensive crap, all these expensive luxuries that are not necessarily going to help them. It's just basically a way to just show off with their cash. And then what happens is they basically blow all their money, they get into debt, and then their videos start falling. Their videos start falling in views, they get less views than they would, and now they start guilt tripping their audience into donating to them. Now, here's the question is, how is that the viewer's responsibility? How is it the viewer's responsibility that you were careless with your money, that you decided to start wasting money on all these expensive cars and going to these expensive parties, ordering all this expensive food, these expensive restaurants, buying all this expensive clothes? How on earth is that the responsibility of the viewers? That is not the responsibility of the viewers alone. That is only your responsibility. And what I will tell you is, if you could have just taken that money, instead of just doing your stupid parties and buying your expensive cars, you could have taken that money and you could have invested it properly. You know what I have done with my money is I actually put my money into two rental properties. That is two rental properties. That is what I do. And that is actually a side income that I make. Like 30% of my money is from those rental properties now. So I make good money just from the rental properties alone. And that was actually a way for me to invest my money. I wanted to invest it in real estate. I was thinking, what can I do with my money? I want to invest it into real estate. And, I'm not a scummy landlord or anything like that. I always help my tenants out, but if anybody ever gets into it, I always recommend, personally to getting into real estate. That's just my opinion. But, you can do whatever you want with your money. But the point that I'm getting at is that people should not just, spend their money just like idiots on just luxuries. It's like these YouTubers, like they literally spend their money worse than some players on GT Online spend their money when it comes to cars. It's actually the same concept. People on GT Online, they spend their money all on all these cars, all these clothes and stuff like that, and they never, invest in properties. They never invest in businesses in GTA, and then they end up going broke, and then they end up complaining. So literally, it's the exact same thing when you think about it. Is these YouTubers and Twitch streamers constantly, I want to party, I want to do this, I want to buy these cars, but they never think about where they're going to be years from now. They just think about when they get a paycheck, their paycheck from YouTube, they think like, what's the best way to blow all this money? That's basically what they think about. They never think about investing their money. So to the YouTubers who always say, I'm in debt or I'm in a financial situation, they say, I used to get more views in the past, I used to make more money in the past. Well, so did I. But you don't see me complaining, you don't see me guilt tripping people, and I still make really good money. So I want to make that clear. I still make really good money, even with my views, going down from what it was in 2018. I still make really good money, and I'm very happy with that. And I want to also thank everybody for the support, because if you guys hadn't been supporting me on YouTube, I would not be here where I am today. So, you guys help me a lot, and you guys help me a lot in my life, and I really do enjoy what I like doing. And I like making content for you guys, and I just love making content. And that's what these YouTubers forget, is they forget that their audience is basically what built them. Without their audience, they would not be there. And so it just pisses me the F off, excuse my language, when I see these YouTubers, demand donations from their audience, when without their audience, they would not be here at all. But that's basically what I'm saying is, why did these YouTubers who complain about their financial situations, why did they not invest this money? And if you don't want to invest in, like, for example, like rental properties, there's other ways. There are so many ways that you can invest your money. You might not even spend your money. You might just put all your money in the bank and just keep it there just for a rainy day. But you should always have some money left over and just a rainy day in case something bad happens specifically. So, what those YouTubers could have done is they could have, put their money into like a CD at a bank, which, like, a CD at a bank, basically what that is you let the bank borrow your money. And, like, for example, they'll give you like 5% back in like a year. Like, they might do something like that. 5% back in like a year or 5% back in like 6 months. There's banks that offer different rates than that, but stuff like that is FDIC insured. So it's it's up to $250,000 insured. So that's like a way that you can invest your money. You can't touch that money. So when you invest, when you let the bank borrow that money, you can't touch that money. You can't in that time, and it sits there for like 6 months to a year. But then after that, you get all the interest payment. So it allows your money to make you more money. And so, but these YouTubers, they will never do something like that. Do you know why? Because they're extremely impatient. They get all this money from all this ad revenue. They get so much money from this, and they will never put that into like an investment or do anything like that, specifically because they're like, oh, I don't want my money sitting there for like 6 months or a year. I just want to, spend it all right now. I want it all right now. And so that's basically it, is there are ways that they could have just invested their money. They could have put their money into something that would have helped them make money. They could have tried to build another revenue source from that. But nope, they're not going to do that. Instead, they're just going to spend all their money, and then they're going to guilt trip their audience into donating to me. But yeah, basically, going over that point when YouTubers say my videos get demonetized, YouTube is unstable. YouTube has always been unstable income. That's why you always want to have a backup plan. You want to have a backup plan in case YouTube goes bad, and in case like my ad revenue completely plummets. I will be focusing primarily on, my rental properties. I will still, be doing YouTube, but I'm just giving a hypothetical. It's like, if my ad revenue fell completely, I would still have, my rental properties as like a backup. That's like, where I would be getting money from. And that would still be enough to like, me live off. So there's no excuse for these YouTubers who say, my videos get demonetized, YouTube is unstable income. I get pissed off when my videos get demonetized too, and sometimes like I'll make a post about it and I'll say like, oh, YouTube is just demonetizing. It happened with some of my LA Noir videos recently. I will make a post about it. I'll talk about how like it's pissing me off, but I will never, ever tell my audience is like, because this video got demonetized, you guys have to donate to me now. I will never do that. I just rant about the demonetization because it pisses me off. It'll piss anybody off if their videos get demonetized, but I will never, guilt trip my audience or demand money from my audience for that. And now this argument, this is basically the last argument that we're going to go over here, but this argument, I've heard a few, YouTubers say this and Twitch streamers say this, and this is a disgusting argument they say, and they say that you get free content, so you have to donate to me. That is one of the most dishonest arguments that I've ever heard. You get free content, so you have to donate to me. Really? Seriously? Here's what I will tell you, is nobody is obligated to give you a donation. Nobody has to give you a donation. People give you a donation when they like your content, they like you as a person, and they want to support you. When they want to truly support you, that is when they will give you a donation at that point. They are not going to, why should they have to, give you a donation for nothing just because, you said it? No, they will give you a donation when they like you as a person and they appreciate your content. But telling your audience they get free content, no. Here's what I will tell you guys about this. And I'll actually be playing a video later where one viewer actually tells one of those greedy YouTubers that. He tells them that you get plenty of money from ad revenue already. And the YouTuber just basically lashes out at the viewer even after he donated. But here's what I'll tell you is, none of the content that is on YouTube, for example, that isn't really free when you think about it. It's not by default, because look, you might not be, putting in like a credit card when you watch some of these videos. You're not spending your actual money, but do you know what you are? You're watching ads. So content would be truly free if there was no ads. If there was no ads whatsoever in that, and they were just, posting videos with no monetization, no ads on that, then yes, maybe you could make the argument that that is free content. Like Pluto TV, that's like an app that's on PlayStation where it basically gives you like free TV, but the TV has like a lot of commercials. So it's not technically free TV because the TV funds itself through those commercials. And that's exactly how these YouTubers fund themselves. They fund themselves primarily through ad revenue. The vast majority of YouTubers' income comes from ad revenue. That is where it comes from. It does not come from donations. Maybe only the YouTube channels, the vast majority of their videos are demonetized. But even when I deal demonetization on some videos, it's minimal. It's not the vast majority of videos. It's not even like 10% of my videos that get demonetized. It's even less than that. So basically is, I want everybody to be clear on, I want to be clear on this to everyone, is that when you watch my channel, and you watch my videos, including this video right here, you are supporting me. You are helping me, and you are helping me to make a living, even if you never donate to me. And I want to make that clear. You are helping me. The vast majority of people, everybody that pretty much watches this video, everybody that watches, you are helping me and you are helping these YouTubers always when you watch their videos. Because when you watch their videos, do you know what that does? First of all, it gives them an extra view. It helps the algorithm. It pushes the video around everywhere. It gets recommended to people. When you drop a like, it helps the video even more because it's more likely to get recommended. And when you watch the ad, that also helps the YouTuber. So even if you have never donated to me, I don't want you to feel bad or anything because you have helped me tremendously. Is when you guys watch videos like this, like any video that I have monetized, I get ad revenue from that. And because of that, you guys help me out a lot through the ads. So that is basically what is viewers will watch the ads in these videos. Even if they skip the ads, they're still getting you money, even if they skip the ads. So viewers, when they watch your video by default, when they watch your video, when they like your video, when they share your video, they are helping you make money. Even if they never donate to you, they are helping you make money. And so that's personally one of the stupidest crap that I ever hear from these YouTubers is when they say, you get free content, so you have to donate to me. You have to donate to me, you get free content. Well, you know what you tell these people? You tell these greedy scumbags, these greedy bastards, excuse my language. You tell them, if we get free content, then turn off ads in your videos. Turn off monetization on your videos. Just tell them that. Tell them that. If it's truly free content, then why is there ads on it if it's truly free content? Because the viewers are helping them make money through their view. What these YouTubers are demanding is they're demanding a second source of income from you. The ad revenue isn't good enough for them, and they're demanding donations. They're demanding money from you now on top of that, which is just really scummy. And that's that is pretty much what I will say about those arguments. Is these YouTubers, they are responsible for their own financial situations. If you hear a YouTuber basically saying that, I'm in a tough time right now, stuff like that, donate to me, don't donate to people like that. Don't, because like I would say, is they are ultimately responsible for their own financial situation, and you are not obligated to help them. If you truly want to do it, it's your money. Do what you want to do. If you want to support a YouTuber, it is your money. But I'm just telling you guys, in my personal opinion, if I ever heard a YouTuber, say that, donate to me, you get free content. Donate to me, I'm in a financial situation. To me, donate to me is you guys get free content. Donate to me. If you don't donate to me, you don't like me as a content creator. If you ever hear like YouTubers saying stuff like that, I would not donate to them. I would not even watch them. That's just my personal opinion on them. But anyways, enough of me talking about that. Let's react to some of those YouTubers. I will be reacting to them, and I'll be listening in on their what they basically say, and I'll basically be breaking it down. So right here, guys, we're going to be reacting to some of these greedy YouTubers and Twitch streamers. I got 2 Twitch streamers and 2 YouTubers that I'll be reacting to, and I'll basically breaking down their arguments, and I will be basically proving them wrong and showing why these guys are wrong. I'm not going to be naming these guys, so I'm not going to tell you guys the names of these YouTubers and Twitch streamers because I don't want to give them more attention. And I would just say is don't go to their channels and harass them either. Don't do that because that doesn't solve anything. I'm just going to react to their arguments they put forward why they should get a donation, and I'm basically going to prove them wrong. This guy, I've actually never watched this guy's channel. I've seen this guy's face before, but I've never actually watched his channel, so I've seen his face in memes and stuff like that. But whenever I talk about greedy YouTubers on streams, you guys brought this guy up. This guy was brought up the most in my streams, and so I looked this guy up and I started watching a bunch of videos. This guy is the king of guilt tripping. Literally, there is so much guilt tripping in this guy's videos. But let's watch this. There's a viewer of his gives him a $1 donation and asks him why he asks for donations so much, and he basically goes on like a 10-minute rant about that. But let's watch it here.
Now on the on the tips side of things, our first tipper of the day. All right, this is hilarious. This is going to be a really quick answer. An anonymous dollar tipper. And then, by the way, I should preface the question. I will preface the question by saying this. Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, every once in a while, this used to happen on Ask the King, and it still happens on my daily streams. Someone will make a qualifying statement and then ask me a question about it. Like, they'll say, this person said this, what do you think? Now, I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not confirming or denying what this person is about to say. I can't. I don't have time to go fucking vet what they're saying here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to read this statement. I'm going to react directly to the statement, assuming it's true. If the statement is completely false, then guess what? You can disregard the answer. You'll know my answer if the statement was true, but it's a qualifying question, meaning it has to be true for me to answer truthfully. If it was fake, then, then my answer just doesn't really mean much, okay? In fact, how about this? I'm not even going to say the name of the person. Here's
He's already talking a lot of nonsense. He's just going around in circles.
what I'm going to say. An anonymous tipper asked the following. So-and-so said on stream the other day, it is unfair and disrespectful to put the burden on your fans to pay your bills. He said 95% or more of your revenue should be from sponsorships and ad money and not from direct donations from fans, as is never reliable or dependable. It puts the onus on making fans give money for wrong reasons. Do you agree, or do you wish you weren't so dependent on people's generosity? Okay?
The guy who made this donation was 120% right. Is that you should not be guilt-tripping your audience. You should not be demanding donations from your audience. They are not responsible for your financial situation. The vast majority of your money should be coming from ad revenue, not from donations. That guy who donated was 100% right. But anyways, let's see what this guy responds with.
So, I'm not going to say who he's claiming said it because I don't even know if it's true this person said it or not. Okay? All right? Now, I can come at this from two different directions. I can come at this from a direction of over 10 years ago when I was very popular on YouTube. I made my entire living on ad revenue because I was able to do so. And now I can tell you from today's perspective. Okay? From someone 10 years ago who made a living solely on ad revenue on YouTube and was able to do that. That was a great time because you're absolutely right. I didn't have to ask anyone for anything. I literally felt like I was 100% in control of the situation at all moments. I could play any game I wanted. I could do whatever I wanted. The views would come in, the money would come in, and everything was great, right?
Okay, you see exactly where he's going with this right now. He is basically bringing up the argument that I said beforehand. Remember what I said earlier in the video? I said these YouTubers will say, oh, I used to get more views back in the day. I used to get more money from ad revenue. Now I don't anymore. My question for him is, if you got so much money back in the day, where you were able to make a living and everything was all great and you were getting so much views regardless of whatever game you played, well, my question for you is, what the hell happened to the money? What did you do to the money? Where is the money exactly? I'm sorry, I'm trying not to yell here, but I'm just saying, is what happened to it exactly? Where is this money? Where is it exactly? What did you do with it? Because if you were this popular and you were, you've been on the YouTube for, well over 10 years and you used to make so much money back in the day, well, what did you do with all that money that you made? Remember what I said earlier is I put my money into rental property. So I decided to start up a side business because I wanted to make passive income. I didn't want to be solely dependent on YouTube. And I don't think anybody should be solely dependent on one income. I think that everybody should, always look for other forms of income that they can make. And so my question for, this guy is, what the hell did you do with all the money that you made beforehand? Is now you're, guilt tripping your audience for donations. What did you do with that money? What did you do with it? Why did you not invest that money properly? If you invested that money that you got 10 years ago properly, you could be living very well right now if you invested that money properly. If you knew what you were doing. But no, I'll tell you exactly what he probably did. What he probably did is he started spending the money on cars, started going to expensive restaurants, going to parties, and he blew all that money instead of investing it properly. That's exactly what he did. And now he is guilt-tripping his audience and basically saying, oh, I used to make more money back in the day, but what the hell did you do with all the money? And like I said, is if you can't make enough money to support yourself from YouTube, go and get another job. That's it. Go into a physical job. You can download DoorDash or Uber Eats even on your phone, and you can start doing that just to make some extra money there. So literally, there's no excuse on trying to guilt trip your audience and demanding more money from your audience. Like, what the hell did you do with all that money?
At that time, did I ask anyone for anything? No. Didn't have crowdfunding. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. It was literally just watch the videos, please, and the ad revenue is enough for me to make a great living, and that's all I ever wanted, right? I never at that time sought out sponsorships or partnerships or anything like that whatsoever, even though I very well could have. Back then, I was at the top of my game, and a lot of companies were seeking me out for these kind of sponsorship opportunities. They wanted me to show their products and do that stuff. And every once in a while, there was something like that. I remember there was a custom company called Laser Mods, and I think I advertised one of their controllers. All they did was send me a controller. They didn't pay me for it. I had, at one point, a Loot Crate partnership where I would unbox a Loot Crate once a month, should do a video, and if you bought a Loot Crate with my referral code, I'd make a little bit of money, of which I think total I made like $300 total the entirety of the partnership. I'm not saying that
Loot Crate partnership. That's the well, I've done sponsorships in the channel before, but my first sponsorship was I think like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. So I haven't done sponsorships are still a very new thing for me. But whenever I've done a sponsorship, is I've only done sponsorships on stuff that I truly believe in, like stuff that I truly enjoy, like content that I really enjoy. Like this chair is actually from a sponsor of mine, Ewin, and I actually really like this chair. This is literally the best chair that I've ever had. But I've only done sponsorships on products that I specifically like, products that I enjoy, and products that I use. So I will never do sponsorship on just some weird thing, especially not loot boxes. And I've actually had weird people, message me for sponsorships. I remember I had like this one guy, like, and it was, and the thing about this is, it was like a real company too. I even looked it up. It was like this guy was like offering me thousands of dollars, like it was like a year ago, and he wanted me on one of my lore videos. He basically wanted me to like put out a sponsorship where it was like investing in art. It was like some kind of weird stock art thing. It was like investing in fine art and something like. It was just so weird. It was just so dumb. It's like I would never do something like that. And so it's like, why am I going to do something like this to show this to my audience, like for money? So I'm never. That's the reason that sponsors seek out YouTubers, because people like these YouTubers and they relate to these YouTubers. And when these YouTubers basically recommend a product and say, "Oh, I use it," that's why sponsors are so crazy for these YouTubers, because the YouTubers have a loyal following and they know that the YouTuber recommends something. A lot of people are going to buy it. But I will only recommend something that I personally like and personally enjoy. But literally, loot boxes, that's literally what you were doing. Microtransactions, my god.
I was above that and never did it. What I'm saying is, even when I was at the top of the world, all right, basically, I was in a situation where I could have been making myself very secure, and I didn't. Why? Because I respected my viewers too much. I didn't want the entirety of my content to become, here's an ad for this product, here's an ad for this product, filled as a promotional video for this or that. Hell, even when
Well, now you've replaced that with basically guilt tripping for donations every stream.
I went to E3 with Machinima sponsoring me, and the whole point of me going to E3 was apparently to cover this game called Hawken. I went to E3, I played the game, I did some footage of the game, and I realized the game wasn't that good, and it probably wasn't going to be popular. And I covered it minimum, and I went off and I covered E3 fully for you guys, and just kind of didn't even care about Hawken. I never even played the game when it came out, okay? I've always tried to do the bare minimum when it came to that kind of shit. If I needed to do it to stay alive or whatever, I would. But I always said to myself, I respect my audience too much to be constantly being Mr. Ads, Mr. Shill. I don't want to become that. The whole thing over the years for me was being honest, right? When I opened the Loot Crate, if it wasn't good, I would tell you I didn't think it was good. Why do you think people weren't buying the Loot Crates and I wasn't making money hand over fist on that sponsorship? Because 9 times out of 10, the crates weren't that good, right? It's true, all right? Now, you very well can make an entire living
Why did you take the sponsorship if the crates weren't good?
on ad revenue and on these sponsorships and partnerships, if you don't care about the vast majority of your content being junk. Okay? So what this person is saying is very true. You can absolutely make a living with 95% or more of your revenue being sponsorships and ad money. Absolutely, that's correct. Ad money, not really anymore, I had to say. Because ad revenue is just not where it was. At one point, yeah, 100% of my living was ad revenue. Today, good luck. Good luck making a living with just ad revenue unless you're at the top of the game and you have millions and millions of views on every video. Then maybe you're making enough. All right.
This guy is full of so much crap right now. I will tell you guys this. When I would upload, I used to upload like top 5 and top 10 videos on like GTA, like, every Saturday. And these videos would get usually 100,000 views in a day. So I would get like, 100,000 views in a day in the past, previously on like these GTA, top 10 videos that I would upload every Saturday. And those were, really good for my channel. That's like literally where I did the best in like 2019. But here today, like, 5 years later, when I upload playthroughs, if I upload like a playthrough of like LA Noire, for example, like, right? If I upload like an LA Noire video and the LA Noire video gets like 10,000 views, I still make a decent amount of money from that. And, I upload another LA Noire part the next day. I gets like 10,000 views. I make a decent amount of money from that too. And so, one of my, like, I remember my Saints Row 2 playthrough, it got, like, like, it was, like, 30 or 40,000 views, like, a video. And then it was, like, the GTA 4 playthrough, I think it was, like, 60 or 70 or 80,000 views. Some of the GTA 4 videos even, I think, have, like, 200, 300,000 views. Like, these are just playthroughs. We're not even just talking lore videos specifically. And I'll tell you guys that when I make one really good lore video, like, a month, if I make, like, one really good lore video a month, and that lore video gets within 100,000 views within a week, that's usually what, like, it happens, that's still enough for me to basically go through the entire month. So I have plenty of money alone from these playthroughs and that one lore video that's once a month. So literally, when this guy's saying, oh, you need to have hundreds of thousands of millions of views on, like, these videos to make a ton of money from ad revenue, no, that's not true. If you have, like, millions of views, obviously you're going to make a ton more money. That's true, but you don't need as much views as he's saying to actually support yourself. I support myself primarily still through ad revenue, even though, my views are down from what I've had in 2019. So on my playthroughs alone, if I ditched, like, the streams and I ditched the lore videos and I just did playthroughs, I probably would make a little bit less, but I would still have enough to support myself just from the playthroughs alone. So literally, I always appreciate every view, and every view helps. But when he's saying, oh, you need to have, like, millions of views on, like, every single video in order to make the majority of your money from ad revenue, no, you don't. And my question is, what are you doing with the money? What happened to the money? What are you doing with it? You just probably spent it all on dumb crap.
All right, but for the common person trying to make any kind of significant money on ad revenue on YouTube, it's just not possible anymore. The website's changed so much, the demonetization, like we just talked about, and the fact that the ads just aren't as profitable anymore. All right, so basically what this person is saying is a very unique perspective, because this is a perspective of someone who only sees from the top of the ivory tower. This is a person who very much feels like every piece of content they put out is great. They feel like, you know what I mean? Like, everything I do is perfect, right? There's no way that I can improve, right? So I can make a living on all this, and I don't have to ask anyone for anything. That's true. If you're someone who every video you put out gets millions of views, and you can get an advertisement campaign going with a company, and you make $1 million on that campaign, and you can make a living doing that, good on you. I mean, great. I mean, the vast majority of your content is now shilling, and you're basically a walking paid advertisement, a cartoon character, a Muppet, whatever you want to call it, because all you care about is the money, or else you wouldn't be just constantly shilling and caring about the ads. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess that's fine. If that's really who you want to be for your rest of your life, good on you. Make a living doing that. But that's not where normal people usually are, especially me for my life. First of all, I've never really been in that position. The one time I was, when I was at the top of my YouTube game, I purposely decided not to do that. Even though I saw all my contemporaries starting to do those opportunities and I said, no, I'm going to stay true to myself. I'm going to just keep making the content I love. I want to be there for my audience. I'm not going to become Mr. Sellout. All right.
I'm not going to become Mr. Sellout, and you're guilt tripping your viewers into donations. Like I said, is I didn't do sponsorships until, like, the last 2 years. That's, like, when I started doing sponsorships. And what I will say about that is, even when I primarily did just from AdSense, just from ad revenue alone, that was way more than enough to support me. I had made really good money through YouTube, and I saved up a lot of it. And so, what did he do with all that money? I don't want to keep going back to this point, but he just keeps talking about how I used to do really good back in the day. I made really good money from ad revenue. So, what did you do with that money? What happened to that money? Where is that money? That's my question.
Right? And essentially, all right, I feel that when you say something like this, 95% of your living should be ad revenue or sponsorships, okay? That's great if you could do that. And how many people can actually do that? Like, that's such an elitist comment, because most people can't do that, right? They just can't.
If you can't do that, that doesn't mean, like, literally, the way he's framing it is he's trying to make his audience feel bad for him. That's exactly what he's trying to say. He's saying only if you're an elitist can you make that much money from ad revenue. Can you do that well? I make good money from ad revenue, even though my views are not what they used to be back in, like, 2019, 5 years later, but I'm still making really good on ad revenue. And I don't guilt trip my audience. I don't demand, money from my audience. I don't say that I need this to pay the bills. I've had bad months in the past. It's happened to me too. But I've never, once, gone on a stream and just started trying to guilt trip people into donations, telling people, donate to me, give me it right now. I'm in financial trouble. I've never even really been in that financial trouble. I've never really been in that situation like that. So I've just been very careful with my money. I don't spend my money on this dumb crap, and I don't see how this is the responsibility of his viewers right now. How is that the responsibility of your viewers? Even if you upload like a video once a day and your video gets a couple thousand views like in a day, like let's say that you upload like a video and your video gets like 5,000 views like every day, and you upload like 30 of those 5,000 30 videos that each get like 5,000 views, and those videos are probably all going to be growing over time. It's a continuous source of passive income. And even if it's not enough to support yourself, you go and do something else. Like, I used to work in retail. I worked in retail for 6 years. I would be a store associate. I also went to college. I wanted to go into law enforcement, but eventually when YouTube was doing really good for me, I decided to stay with YouTube and then invest in rental properties. That's what I ultimately ended up doing. So why are you not doing other things? Why are you not working an extra job? Why, you don't know, there's easy things you can do. Like I said, DoorDash and Uber Eats, you're not going to make a fortune from it, but it's, some extra money that you can make just delivering food, driving people. You can do stuff like that. There's warehouses probably in your area that are probably looking for physical labor. But these guys, this is too much for them. Like I said, these jobs are below them. It's like, oh, I can't work a 9-to-5 job. I can't do something like that.
It's not possible to make an entire living just on a sponsorship or a partnership or an ad revenue. It's just not anymore. Again, pre-2017, it was possible. But after the adpocalypse, everything changed.
Hang on,
Can't. It's not possible to make an entire living just on a sponsorship or a partnership or an ad revenue. It's just
I will say also is there's a friend of mine who he's a YouTuber. I don't want to name him. But what I will say, he's a really great guy, and he actually he does a sponsorship every so often, and because he does like really big projects. He's a pretty popular YouTuber, but those sponsorships alone are enough to sustain his channel for a long time. He makes a decent amount of money from that, just the sponsorships alone. So what this guy is saying is just a load of crap here.
Just not anymore. Again, pre-2017, it was possible. But after the adpocalypse, everything changed. This is the opinion of someone who lives in a different world from reality. They have always been at the top. They probably put out videos that make so much ad revenue and have so many opportunities because they're basically a pseudo-celebrity. They don't understand what it's like to be a normal person trying to make content. So it's an incredibly pompous, over-the-top, elitist, off-base, ridiculous comment that doesn't apply to the vast majority of the internet. In addition, think of the difference between someone who makes a living because people like the free content they put out and willingly decide to contribute. There's a difference between a willful contribution and a necessary contribution, meaning you watch that content and there's ads on it. Shit. Well, it's unavoidable. The ads, versus, oh, I like the content so much, I'm going to go above and beyond to support that content, right? There's people who are popular because they're popular, and then there's people who are popular because people like the content. There's a difference. People who make a living through crowdfunding probably is because people like their content. As much as I completely and utterly disagree with those streamers on Twitch who put out the fucking hot tub streams and shit, sadly, they have viewers who like their content, and they will throw money at it, right? Who are you to say that? I mean, do I agree with that practice? No, I think it's abusive, and I think that they're basically preying on people who are weak-minded because they think they're going to get something out of a relationship they're never going to get, right? But for someone who's a normal content creator, I put out content every day. I feel like it's digestible, it's entertaining for my audience. I'm not going to sit here and shill to you. I'm not going to sit here and rely on ad revenue. If you like my content, then please support it. And then people support it. What's the problem with that? Right? This person says, it's not reliable or dependable. I've had more consistent income ever since I became a full-time streamer than I did before. It's true. Since I became a full-time streamer in 2017, I've had more reliable and consistent income in my life than all those years before where I was beholden to YouTube's ad revenue system. Because at any moment, you could make one of these changes. And then when they make a change, you're screwed. And there's nothing you can do about it. Deal with it, right?
No, there is something you can do about it. You can look for other sources of income. You can diversify your income. You can look to invest the money that you currently have into other stuff to make you money. So literally, he's like, ever since I became a full-time streamer, so this guy would like, what, make videos? I'm not familiar with this guy's channel, but I know he's been on YouTube for a long time. And so this guy says, ever since I became a streamer, I made more money. Well, full-time streamer, my question is, why did you not start, streaming a lot more back then in the day too? Why did you not do that? Like, you literally are proving my point. By diversifying your content, you have made yourself more money. But you don't have to guilt trip your audience. I get a lot of super chats. A lot of people donate to me. But I don't guilt trip. I don't ask people to donate to me. I don't do stuff like that. And I feel bad when people, apologize, saying like, I'm sorry I only donated $2. Any amount that you guys always donate, I always tremendously appreciate. And don't think that because, like I said, because you don't donate to me, that I'm not going to read your comment. I'm going to read as many comments as I can. And this guy in this entire time has not even read one other comment. He's just basically focused on that donation about that guy saying that. That's just it. There are other ways to make money, and he basically is just complaining because he can't get enough specifically just from YouTube alone.
Would you rather be beholden to a corporation that doesn't care about you and will just at any moment make a big sweeping change and change your entire livelihood? They've put entire YouTube channels out of business overnight because of a change. Is that okay? Why would that be okay? If you have crowdfunding, then you don't have to worry about that. People will support you no matter where you go because you're actually loved for the content you put out. What's wrong with that? Right? This is a person who is so ridiculously off base. And so, their brain is like screwed on the wrong way because they've been in a situation where they can be high and mighty for so many years. They don't even know what it's like to be a normal person anymore.
They don't even know what it's like to be a normal person anymore. What I will tell you is you are in a very privileged position. That is what I will say. Is YouTube does require work. But you are also in a very privileged position, and you are in a position that most people dream for. Most people, like a lot of kids when they're growing up, they dream of being YouTubers. That is literally their ultimate dream. I think that's a kid's probably ultimate dream these days, is to become a YouTuber. Not everybody can make it. Not everybody gets there. There's also a lot of luck involved in that. So you are way more privileged than a lot of other people. And so you're trying to compare yourself and just saying that they don't know what it's like to be a normal person. Well, you're in a very privileged position. I'm in a very privileged position too. I'm privileged. I will say that right now. I have worked hard on my channel, but I've also gotten lucky. The algorithm also spread around my channel and, helped my channel get popular. I don't think he seems to understand that exactly here. He's just saying, they don't understand what it's like to be a normal person. And look, what I will say also here is there's a big difference between, what I typically do on a lot of my videos is I tell people, if you enjoyed the content, drop a like. That's basically what I say. And I don't think there's anything really wrong with that, because when you just say, if you enjoy the content, drop a like, that's, like doesn't require any money. Just basically one click. And I tell people, if you don't like my content, you don't have to like it. You can dislike my content too if you don't like it. If you don't even like what I'm saying here, you can dislike this video too. But that's basically all I've said, is I said, if you like the content, then drop a like. And that's fine to do, because like I said, it's just a like, that's all it is. There's a big difference between asking your viewers to drop a like if they enjoyed the content, and telling your viewers, please, please, please donate to me if you enjoyed this content. Donate to me. And I'm not even bringing up the things like Patreon, because I know some YouTubers, they bring up the Patreon thing. I have a Patreon, but I don't really bring it up that much. And I do offer perks to my viewers, which if you're gonna have memberships and Patreon, you gotta offer perks to your viewers. But there are some YouTubers who basically say, if you want to, further support me, you can from Patreon. I don't really think that's necessarily bad too. But when YouTubers basically say, if you want to keep watching this content, if you want me to keep putting out the content, you have to donate to me right now. I'm not making as much money as I did in the past. You have to donate to me right now. There's a very big difference between the two. And this is what this guy is doing.
This is like one of our politicians who says these big, ridiculous things to the public, and the public are like, what are you talking about? That's not a working person's experience, what you're saying. You're out of your mind, right? Oh, if you don't have money, just go out and take a loan. What? What are you talking about, Mr. Politician? No one can just go to the bank and just immediately get granted a giant loan. You can, but not everyone else. And when you say shit...
Everyone can go get a job too. That's what they can do, including you. If you are not making enough money from YouTube, go and get another source of income.
Like this just proves you're completely out of touch with reality. this person literally, again, if this is what they really said, they really need a reality check, right? And I would absolutely positively love for this person to tell me how they would make a living if all of a sudden YouTube demonetized all their videos and they lost all their sponsorships overnight, how quickly their attitude would change and immediately, hey everyone, please crowdfund me, please crowdfund me. It's nice to say shit like this when you're on top. It really is. But then when you get godsmacked by reality and you get back down to the bottom with everyone else, all of a sudden you realize, oh, maybe I was a little bit cocky there. It's a really dumb thing this person said. If anything, it sounds to me like they were saying this in response to people saying, what about those abusive streamers on Twitch who are sucking money out of their audience and they're preying on their audience? And they responded, I don't like that practice. That's different than just crowdfunding in general. You see? Okay.
Oh man. Trying to guilt trip your audience into supporting you through crowdfunding. That's yeah. And I will say this: if you are demonetized on YouTube, I don't think you can even super chat. So I don't think you can even do that too. But like I said, is the vast majority of your income should be from AdSense, and if it's not, then your income, you should have another job. You should look for another source of income. Why is that on the viewers? Why is that specifically on the viewers? Why should they have to pay for your financial problems, your bad luck? Why should they be responsible for paying for that? They shouldn't be responsible for paying for that. And literally, if you don't want your viewers to watch your content, you're calling it free content, but there's ads. So I don't know if he's completely monetized right now, but I will say this is if you're monetized and people are watching, you're making money from that. People are coming to your channel and supporting it. Even if you're demonetized, if you're not making money from ads, people are still supporting your channel because what they're doing is they're sharing your videos, they're liking your videos. More people watch your videos through the algorithm, and then people might come in your stream, like your content, and drop a donation for you to help you out too. So that's how people can help other people out too. But don't guilt trip your audience. Don't tell them, oh, you guys, because this guy sets goals. He sets goals. He's like, for this stream, we want to hit this goal. And I used to have subscriber goals. I never had donation goals, but I had subscriber goals. And the reason I stopped doing that subscriber goal is because I didn't want to pressure my audience. I didn't want to pressure people that by the end of this stream that we have to find this amount of subscribers. I just wanted people to sit down, enjoy my streams, and just chill. That's basically it. That's all. But let's watch another YouTuber right now. Let's watch another YouTuber. And this guy is going to be way more aggressive, this next guy that we're coming. This is the only YouTuber that I actually know on here. This guy has been doing Call of Duty and other first-person shooters as long as I've been in high school. And I graduated high school in 2012. So this guy has been on for a very, very long time. But what this guy says in this video is absolutely disgusting. You will not believe what this guy says.
My name is Simon. I appreciate the $500 donation, but let me give you a little insight. He makes $500. I get $500 one day. Doesn't mean that I can just come here and just stream for the rest of the week without making it. Let me break it down for you. I know people don't give a shit and they're just going to use this for troll fodder. $500 times 0.3. So YouTube takes $150 right off the rip. So 500 subtract 150. It's $350. You times that by 0.22. That means Uncle Sam gets $77. So
Uncle Sam basically means taxes in the U.S.
350 subtract 77. So I get $273 out of that 500 that I get to actually use and spend on bills, right?
Okay, I'm honestly I'm gonna say something that people probably never hear me say because I don't curse a lot. So people are probably gonna be very surprised for me to say this, but fuck this guy. That's exactly what I'll say about this guy right here. This guy is just a piece of shit. This guy's a complete entitled, selfish scumbag. Literally, this viewer gave him $500, and he has the nerve to take out his calculator, start counting this down, and says, "Oh, YouTube takes $150. They take 30%. YouTube does take a 30% cut on super chats. That is true." But regardless of that, the guy gave you $500. That's literally how much he sent to you. He sent you $500. And what your tax rate is not that viewer's responsibility. And also, what YouTube takes as a cut is not that viewer's responsibility. So the fact that he's going like, oh, you don't gave me $500, but now I'm only going to get $273. If somebody donated to me $273, just $273 alone, and then YouTube takes 30% cut, and they take, and then the taxes and everything else like that, is I still am extremely grateful. I'm extremely grateful for anything. $1 donation, $5 donation. I'm extremely grateful for that because people don't have to donate anything to me. I'm playing a game. I'm doing content for people, and I'm having fun playing a game that I like, responding to questions, and people donate to me. This is like a dream job. Is like, who wouldn't want to do something like that? So literally, you should be grateful that this person alone gave you $500. The fact that you can just sit there and just insult the guy who gave you $500, you gotta be a real piece of shit to insult somebody after they gave you a $500 donation.
To put this in perspective, 130 times 0.3. So that means $39 comes out of it, right? 130 subtract 39. That gives me $91 if I hit my donation goal before taxes. Take taxes out on that, 0.22. $20.02 comes out of that. So 91 subtract $20.02. $70.98 is what I try to live off daily. To put that in perspective, that's a tank of gas. To think I'm out here making big money.
You probably don't even drive a lot because of the fact that you're a YouTuber. I'll be honest with you guys, I don't drive a lot. I don't, because I'm primarily, doing stuff on my YouTube channel and, my rental properties. When I need to go over to my rental properties when something happens, I need to fix something, I'll go over there and I'll fix that and I'll take care of that and drive over and I get groceries and gas. That's about it. I really don't drive anywhere. So sometimes I will, sometimes I won't drive for like 2 weeks. Sometimes, because I just have nowhere to go. I have nothing to do. I'm just working. I work from home and work on my computer. And like I said, I'm very privileged to be in a position like that where I can, go on my computer and I can, create videos for people, awesome content that people like, and I can make a living off of that too. So this guy is not driving around anywhere. But when he's saying like, that, that's enough for like a tank of gas and stuff like that, I will tell you that these guys your viewers like your content. They enjoy your content. And they're donating to you because they want to support you. Are you going to pay for their gas money? Are you going to donate to them? And honestly, I can't imagine how terrible this viewer must feel right now. I can't imagine how horrible he feels. Like, he's probably conflicted. This viewer liked this guy's channel. He liked your content. That's why he gave you a $500 donation, because he really liked your content. And the fact that you proceed to insult him and just say, oh, this is not enough, I need more to get by and stuff like this. It's like, well, what? People are just watching you sit here. You're not even playing the game at the moment. You're just sitting here, and all you're doing is you're just complaining about your money. So what kind of content are you providing at the moment?
That's not crackhead math. YouTube takes 30% of every donation I make. 0.22 is a normal tax rate. It could actually go up or down, but it's not going to be very much. What I'm not trying to say, I'm not trying to say I'm not grateful for him donating $500, but I'm trying.
You are ungrateful, because if you were grateful, you would have been thanking the guy. And literally, did I hear the thank yous? Thank you so much, bro. Thank you for giving me that money. Nope, no, you don't hear that. Instead, he just pulls out his calculator like a scumbag, like a jackass, and just starts ranting about how much money he still needs.
Trying to say is that donation by itself can't keep my family afloat, right?
Why is he responsible for keeping your family afloat? You are responsible for that. That whatever financial situation you are in, you are responsible for that. He clicked on your YouTube video, and I'm assuming this guy's playing Skyrim, because the music that I hear, I'm pretty sure that's Skyrim in the background. But literally, this guy found your channel, was watching you, and here's the thing: new viewers almost never give that amount of money. New viewers. If somebody's gonna give you that type of donation, that is somebody who has watched you for probably at least a year. For a long time, probably. So usually people that give, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but usually people that give big donations like that have watched that YouTuber for some time. It's very rare that people will find like a channel that they really like and then they will give that big of a donation. It's very rare that that happens. So this guy has been watching you and supporting you for years to come. And this is probably not his first donation. If he gave you $500, this guy's probably donated way more in the past. He's probably made tons of more smaller donations. So this guy probably in the end probably ended up giving you thousands of dollars, which helped support you and your family. And instead of thanking the guy and being grateful on the stream, you're just being a scumbag. And if he treats a $500 donation like this, imagine how he treats a $50 donation. He probably, he probably doesn't even acknowledge it. If somebody gives him a $50 donation, he probably doesn't even read it. That's probably what he probably just ignores that too. And a $50 donation, $50 is a lot of money too. So that's this guy is just honestly pissing me off really badly. He's pissing me off more than the last guy.
Have to continue to make money just because he has any kind of cash. Yeah, 70 times 30 is 2,100, but here's the thing. I don't always make my donation goal. Like I've been really amped up to hit it lately, and I've been putting the hours in because I have to. Because trust me, if I could just make $70 and walk away, I would do it and not say a thing about it. I've done it for months. I don't eat out. I mean, like, unless you count like McDonald's as eating out. I'm not ungrateful. I'm just giving you guys an actual lesson in life. Like, life's fucking expensive.
Sure, life is expensive, but why is that the responsibility of your viewers for you?
Life is just fucking expensive. I got $1,700 in land taxes to pay. I got Christmas to buy. I got all this other shit that I have to do. I had to work on the air conditioner myself today. You know?
I got Christmas, I got land taxes to pay. He said $1,700? $1,700? $1,700 property taxes. I'm assuming that's what he means. Here's what I will tell you about this. My parents, both my mom and my father, they live in a small middle-class home in New York. They live in Long Island, which in Long Island is one of the most expensive places to live in New York. So my parents, like what I'm about to say, you would think that my parents like live in a mansion. My parents live in their small middle-class home that they've had for a very long time. And I always help my parents out. I help my parents out with the bills. So anytime my parents need me, I'm always there. I'm always asking my mom and my dad if they need any help with anything. So I'm also supporting my parents. But my parents, do you know what the property tax on their house is? Do you know what it is? The property tax on their house is $18,000 a year. That's literally what it is. $18,000. And you would think that they're living in some giant mansion. No. They are living in a middle-class home that was built in the 1950s. That is literally what they are living in. And so this guy's saying, I got $1,700 in property taxes. $1,700 in property taxes is nothing compared to what some other states pay. Other states, I don't know what state he's in, but there's other states where people pay just way more. And so my parents are both working class people. My dad's retired. My mom, works as a cleaner. And my parents also, like I said, I always help my parents out. And my parents at times, it's difficult also for them. And so the fact that this guy says, oh, $1,700, I got to pay $1,700, and, I got to do Christmas shopping. Well, literally, that $350 donation that guy gave you is, $350 towards that right away. So there's houses that have way higher taxes than what this guy has on him. And there's people who are not as privileged as him. There's working class people that have way higher taxes. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm getting at there's working class people that, work a physical job. And look, here's the thing: streaming is not a physically hard job. It's not. There's streamers who say like, working a 9 to 5 is easier than streaming. No, it's not. No, it's not. I wouldn't say that like, managing a YouTube channel is necessarily easy, but streaming is very easy. Like, maybe making content, editing videos, that can be a bit difficult. But like streaming is easy. All you basically do when you stream, all I basically do when I stream, I just sit in front of, my computer, which I'm broadcasting my PlayStation screen on, and I just sit for like, 2 to 3 hours, and I will just play, Red Dead Online, I'll play GT Online, I'll answer questions, and that's about it. That's it. So literally, streaming is easy. It's extremely easy. It's not, physically exhausting like some other jobs. I honestly don't, the fact that he would even compare himself to that is just disgusting me.
I ate bologna sandwiches today. It is what it is. I'm not rolling in fucking money. I assure you, there's people that are way worse off than me. I 100% believe there is.
There definitely are people way worse off than you. You are in a very privileged position that you can play games online, you stream games to the internet, and people will donate to you. You are in a very privileged position, and I don't know how he does his monetization on his streams, but I will tell you, not everything is about money, guys. This is what I'll tell you. Is the thing that, do you know what I care about the most when it comes to my channel? The thing that I care about the most is I care about my reputation. That's what I care about the most. I care about the fact that I don't care about being the biggest YouTuber. I don't care about having the most views. I just care about my reputation, what people think of me. I want people to come to my channel, and I want people to say, oh, he's a nice guy, I like his content, he's reliable, he doesn't clickbait, he doesn't lie to his audience. That's basically what I want when I want people to come to my channel. So these YouTubers, a lot of these YouTubers, like, this guy's hated. This guy, I look this guy up a lot too. People just say nothing but just bad things about these. But these guys, a lot of times they don't care. They're just there for the views. They're just there for the money. Yes, I make a living off of YouTube. That is true. But I also care. I respect my audience, and I care what my audience thinks of me. But a lot of these YouTubers, they will do things like clickbait. Like you got the GTA clickbaiters out there. The GTA clickbaiters, these guys got like millions of subscribers. And they will clickbait, talk about the biggest nonsense ever, stuff that they know clearly is not true. Like, even some of the videos these clickbaiters make, like, when you watch it, like, you will know that it's BS. Like before you even click on the videos, the title of the video alone, you just know it's clickbait. So, like, I guarantee you a lot of these YouTubers don't even believe these clickbait videos that they post. They just post them basically for views and just to milk the GTA 6 content. And the vast majority of their viewers actually even dislike them. Like, the comments of these clickbaiters, you look at the comments, people just dislike them. So I would honestly rather have less views and people respect me than, have tons of views and just people hate my guts. And I actually took one big hit on my channel, what I did in the past, and I did it primarily for my audience. And you can actually look at my streams as proof of this, if you don't believe me. Basically, is all of my streams, every single time I stream, my streams never have mid-roll ads. They only, during live, they only have mid-roll ads when I upload it. So once the stream is over and the stream is uploaded to YouTube, there are mid-roll ads in my streams. But when my stream is live, when I'm live streaming, I don't have mid-roll ads on that. I don't. I only have the ads right in the beginning. So when people click on my stream, there's only the ads right in the beginning. Once the video is uploaded, there'll be some mid-roll ads then people will, then there'll be ads on the video, in between there. But when people watch me live, the only ad you will see is that ad that is at the start. Now, why? Why exactly like that? I've been doing that for a long time. You can come by my streams whenever they're live, and you will see I mean this, that the only ad that you will see on my stream that's live is the startup one, right when you click on the video. You will not see you will not be watching the video for like 30 minutes and then an ad will randomly pop up. That is not going to happen on my streams. But the reason that I disabled the mid ads, the reason I don't do that I don't have mid ads in between, is because I had a lot of people that were complaining. There's people in my comment section that were saying, like, professional, like when you're in the middle of saying something, there'll be like an ad that'll come up, because I used to have the automatic thing where like automatically put in ads, during the live thing, and people were saying, like, these ads are annoying. They just come up in the middle of the stream, like right when I'm about to get a good kill in a game, or like, in the middle of watching a cutscene or something like that, or in the middle of answering a question, the ad will pop up and it pisses people off. And what I did in response to that is I just disabled ads, mid-roll ads. So I only kept the ad in the front in the beginning, because that's like right when you click on the video. But I disabled mid-roll ads because that's exactly what my audience wanted me to do. My audience was getting pissed off with the ads, and I did it. And that's one of the reasons my streams are actually very popular. One of the reasons is because I answer questions, I respond to my audience. I'm very grateful for all the support that I get, and and I don't bombard them with ads during streams. So that's one of the reasons people like my streams. I'll answer people's questions, and I don't spam ads on the streams. But these YouTubers, like I said, I can't imagine if he's this greedy over like a $500 donation, I can't imagine the amount of mid-roll ads that he has. He probably has a ton.
But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm making bank, and when I do a job that I'm selling my mental health for basically minimum wage.
Oh. Literally, you are sitting here playing Skyrim. You've just received a $350 donation. What are you talking about right now? I agree. The only thing I will agree is I will agree that YouTube does take a toll on mental health. I did do a video on this like a year ago, where you know, I was struggling with like what I wanted to do with YouTube, and I had like people that were getting a little pushy and aggressive in my comment section, and I used to like it, when there were people that were being like really rude and nasty to me in the comments, I would get really stressed out by that, and so I did a video like, you know, talking on this. So I do agree that to an extent there is a lot of like, you know, mental health stuff that you deal with on YouTube, but the thing is though, is the mental health problems that I've had on YouTube is nothing in comparison to the mental health problems that I've had working in retail. Like in retail, that's where I encountered really scummy bosses in retail. Like I had really bad bosses in retail that would make me do all their work. They would talk crap about me behind my back. They would change my hours without telling me. I had really nasty coworkers, customers who would curse me out. I even had a customer who spit at me once. I had a customer who followed me to the parking lot once because they were pissed off over something. I will tell that story in the future. I actually told that story on the retail video, but it's just telling that whole story would just be like, you know, 10 minutes. But the point that I'm getting at is I have dealt with like, you know, real situations like where I've actually gotten threatened before at like my job in retail. So I've dealt with some really aggressive people before. So the mental health that I dealt with in retail is like 10 times worse than any of the mental health issues that I've had on YouTube. And the fact that this guy's like saying, oh, I'm just, you know, working like minimum wage here. You just got a $350 donation. And even if that is like your only like donation in like an hour, what was it, like $273 or something like that he said? That's like $273 in like an hour of playing. So that's not probably not even the only donation he's gotten in that hour. But that's really good. Somebody who makes $273 in 1 hour, even if that's just in one day, $273, making $273 in just one day alone, that's really good. So that's
Because, you know, I could make $70 working at McDonald's, and
then go work at McDonald's. That is literally what I will say. If I can make $70 working, then go work at McDonald's. Do that. Go work at McDonald's. Stop streaming. If it's honestly, if streaming is so much harder for you than working at McDonald's, then go do that. Shut down your stream. Go work at McDonald's.
I don't have to sit here and get criticized every day.
You get criticized because you're a scumbag who's ungrateful to your viewers after they donate to you. That's why you're getting criticized.
That's $8.75 an hour. That's what I strive to work for. Yeah, but Gucci Mane, it's 1/3 of my land tax if I got to keep $500, but I don't. I just told you what I get to put in my pocket is $273. So like, to make my land taxes, I'd have to get, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd have to get like 6 $500 donations. Because everybody has a little hand in the pot. And like, you want to call me like entitled and shit. Like, dude, there's some of these streamers that make fucking $100,000 a stream off gambling right now. Not just the gambling itself, because the gambling sites pay them $100,000 a stream. What's more effort going to cause? Is more effort going to make me to play better in the game? It's not. And don't even come at me with this, it's not the game shit. Because if I played a game I'm actually good at, like Dark Souls, I'd have 250 viewers in here. Right? People want to see me play first-person shooters, alright? Well, that's there. I try my best every time I play first-person shooters. People say you blame your team too much. I try not to blame my team. When I don't blame my team, people say you don't talk enough. And then I look over to try to talk to people. It is what it is, dude. I'm not toxic, though.
I'm not toxic, though. Says the guy who just insulted one of his loyal viewers who just gave him a $500 donation. I'm not toxic. Says the guy who's ungrateful over a $273 donation. How much do you want him to donate to you? $1,000? How much exactly? He gave you $500, and he's talking about his property taxes. Why are they responsible for paying your property taxes? What about that guy's property taxes? That guy took a hit in his bank account by donating to you. He didn't have to give crap to you, but he still did it. And so that's what these YouTubers don't think about. They don't think about their they don't think about the financial situation of their viewers when they're donating to them. And I will tell you guys I have had it happen where one of the things this guy could have done, instead of, you know, just being a scumbag, is he could have said to the guy, "Thank you so much for the donation, man. Could I add you? Like, could I add you online?" That's like one thing he could have done. That would have made that viewer super happy. Imagine the YouTuber adding that viewer. Like, this YouTuber has to be one of This YouTuber has to be one of this viewer's favorite YouTubers. If he gave him $500 donation, he has to be one of his favorite YouTubers. Imagine him just saying basically like, add me right now. Why don't we play a game together or something like that? I do that. I add people a lot of times too. When people come to my streams, they donate to me and they say to me, professional, can you add me? I'll add them. Because it's the least I can do, because they gave me a donation. I'm not entitled to any kind of donation. Nobody owes you a donation. And so that's what a donation is. It's a voluntary transaction. A donation is when you voluntarily give somebody money. You don't have to give them money, but you voluntarily give them money. That is literally what a donation is. And so, people come to my streams and they say to me, professional, like, can I add you? I'll add them, because it's the least I can do. It's the least I can do for them, donating to me. And I also add, everyone, really. I try to add as many people as I can. I don't just add people who just donate to me. I've added a lot of people for my streams who haven't donated to me. But it's a little hard to just keep adding everybody, because its own PlayStation can only have, maximum of 2,000 friends. So every so often I have to, like, go on my friends list, and I'll find people that have been offline for like a year, and I will, I will basically remove the people that have been offline for a year. But I don't remove people. I only remove people that have been offline for a year. The only time I remove people is when they're, really toxic, or if they've been offline for more than a year. That's it. But like that's a lot of times I do. And even when people don't ask me to add them, if somebody gives me like a donation, a lot of times I'll say to them like, hey, can I add you, dude? You want to play together? Stuff like that. So that's the least you could have done, is you could have at least added the guy. You could have at least, been grateful to the guy for that, but it's just, this guy is just, I don't want to spend too much more time on this guy, but it's just the way that his guy, like, just treats his viewers, and also, going back to this point, is, that's one of the things I have for, I offer my, my channel members and my patrons, like, perks, because if you're gonna offer some kind of membership, you should offer them perks. And what I do is I do like exclusive streams, like 2 or 3 months early, and then what I do is I do like playthrough parts. Like I release a playthrough part like 1 week early. Sometimes I will give like a video like a month early too. I will do stuff like that, and I will also, if my channel members ask for me to add them, I'll add them. And on Patreon I do it too. So on Patreon, that's one of my things. I will add people. So I will add people who support me on Patreon, because it's the least that I can do. It's the least I can do to make that viewer's day. What can I do to help that viewer out? What can I do to make to make their experience more enjoyable? And that's add them. So like, why did he not even one time request that, like, hey, can I add you, dude? Like, thank you for the $500 donation. Can I add you? Nope, he didn't. And the thing is, though, is I get a lot of messages from people a lot of times. Like, on Patreon, I'll have messages from people that will say to me, like, oh, professional, like, I can't support you right now because I'm going through some financial situations. Please don't delete me and stuff like that. And I reply back to them, and I say to them, dude, don't worry about it. I'm not going to delete you. I'm not going to delete you. It's like, your financial situation is, the most important, and you do not have to support me. Don't think that you have to, support me financially for me to be your friend. I will, support you. Yes, when somebody supports me from Patreon, that is one of my perks. I add them because that's the least I can do. I always think about what I can do for my viewers, but don't think that I'm gonna, delete you or remove you because, you don't donate to me. I will add as many people as I can. I even add people all the time from the regular chat too. But that's at least what he could have done, is he could have at least offered this subscriber that he was going to add him, but he didn't do that.
Overlays, schedules, and uploading videos. Hey, Shingo, thank you for the $20, man. Thank you, dude. But here's the...
Honestly, he was more generous towards the $20 than the $500 donation.
All right. There's no point in uploading videos. There's no point. First off, they don't make money. Second off, it's almost pointless to upload them without just turning the comments completely off. Like, my dislike ratio on this video, I don't even know what it is. Let me go check. Right now we have 76 likes, 180 dislikes. That means, like, that's 2.5 times more people come in here, hit the dislike button, hit the like button.
There's a reason people are hitting the dislike button. Do you want to know what my average is? My average on my videos and my streams? I know you guys can't see the dislike bar, but the average like and dislike on my channel is 98 to 99% likes. So literally between 98% to 99%. The vast majority of my videos are likes. Sometimes it drops down to 96, 97%, but it's almost always in the 90s. It's very rare that I will have a video that goes underneath that. And that's because my audience likes me a lot. They like the content that I do, they respect me as a person, and they enjoy my stuff. And so the fact that this guy has just so many dislikes already is like, you can see the audience is getting pissed at him. They're not supporting this type of behavior at all. They're not tolerating this type of behavior at all.
Again, nobody gives a fuck about an overlay. I've had overlays for years. Nobody gave a shit. You think an overlay is gonna make people click on this shit? No. No. Most successful streamers don't have like all the overlays and shit like that. Like people, it's all about the content that they're getting put out there. Like people that want to watch people gamble big bucks, go and watch people gamble big bucks and shit like that. Well, first off, I don't get paid right away when I get super chats. The super chats that get sent today, I'll get paid sometime in October, like October 22nd. That's when I'll actually get access to that money. Right? So no money you donate today ever goes into my pocket directly. So saying that, oh, I probably already spent it. No. Alright, whatever.
He probably would have spent it on some dumb crap anyways.
If you guys want to make it seem like I'm a bad person, go for it. I don't even care anymore. I'm just saying, like, if you guys want to continue hanging out in the stream and seeing the stream, it is what it is, man.
Literally,
the
only person making himself out to be a bad person is
this amount of money to continue justifying doing this. If I don't make that money, I'm probably gonna stop.
Imagine how disgusting that is, that you literally tell your audience, if I don't get this much money, I'm gonna stop the stream. I have never done that. Never. Never done something like that. There are some streams that, get less, way less, donations than others, but I never have, said I'm gonna end the stream if I don't get, this amount of money or something like that. I don't do stuff like that. Whatever people donate to me, I'm happy with. So, if people give me a lot of donations, sure, it makes me, happier. Anybody who says that they're not, happier when they get a lot of donations, I think they're lying. But I'm not gonna, get all pissed off or, threaten to end the stream because I, get less donations than usual on a stream. It's just, some days you have people donating more, some days you have people donating less. But, threatening the people who are there enjoying your stream, trying to have fun with you. And, imagine if this guy who donated the $500, imagine if he's the only guy who donated that stream, right? So he gave him still, what is it? Even if, let's just say that the $273 that he's talking about, right? That he gets, in the end. Well, basically, even if he's the only guy who donated, and then this guy says, oh, nobody else is donating, I'm ending the stream. Well, that guy just gave you hundreds of dollars. You could at least keep playing just for that guy alone. You have loyal viewers who are watching your stream, wanting to watch you play, and you're threatening to cut the stream unless they keep donating to you. Disgusting.
Again, we just talked about you can't take the money at face value because I don't make that kind of money. And it's coming close, Charles. Honestly, it is.
So this guy used to be a lot bigger back in the day. He used to get a lot more views than he does today. And so my question is, again, the exact same question I gave the other guy. What did you do with all the money that you had? What did you do with it? He probably spent it on dumb crap, luxuries, cars, parties. That's probably what he spent it on. He didn't invest any of his money properly. He didn't save the money for a rainy day. He spent it all on stupid crap.
Like, sitting down and crunching the numbers and realizing how little I fucking make. Like, my wife made more money than me last year. I made $1,000 in a day. When? I've done it a couple times. Nobody wants to collab with me, dude. Collabing with me just means you get the ire of everybody.
He's like, oh, I made $1,000 a couple times in a day. I made $1,000 a couple times in a day. Imagine that. So let's say that you have 10 days in the entire year where you make $1,000. Let's just say that 10 days in the entire year, and you literally, that's 10 grand alone. 10 grand. He's like, oh, I just made a cut $1,000 a few times in a day. He's talking about it like it's pennies.
Can mods please ban people that are negative?
Okay, now this can mods please ban people that are negative? You got a YouTuber here who cannot handle criticism. They can't handle that. And look, one thing that you guys know about me and my channel is that I'm a very big free speech guy. I don't believe in censorship. You know, I'm completely against that. Sometimes I know when moderators will, like, ban somebody who's, like, insulting me in chat, but I have never personally myself banned somebody who is insulting me in chat. The only time that I ban people from chat is when somebody is being racist in the chat, or if somebody's, like, posting a scam, or, like, they're harassing somebody else. I will usually warn them, and then I'll ban them. But, like, but if somebody, like, comes into my chat and they're, like, saying to me, like, professional, like, I hate your videos, you suck, like, stuff like that, my response usually to that person will be, like, okay, what don't you like about my channel? Like, what's the issue exactly? Is there something I can improve on? But usually they don't tell me what I can improve on. Usually they will keep insulting me, because, like, they just don't like me. But I can handle criticism. So if people come into my chat, if they're posting some racist stuff or harassing people, I'll ban them. I'll kick them out. But if they're just, coming into my channel and just insulting me, I'm not really going to kick them out. I'm not going to, do that. So I can handle criticism. People can come into my chat, and I will address the criticism directly. So if somebody, comes in my channel and they have some kind of criticism, they'll say, like, oh, your videos are too long, or, this could have been edited better and stuff like that. Like, I will respond to that. There was a guy who commented on one of my GTA videos. It was the GTA video with the it was the GTA video with the ones with the legal, what was it? The best ways to make money legally in GTA Online without breaking the law. And there's, like, one guy who was like, there's an editing mistake in this. And, like, and the thing is, though, a lot of YouTubers, they probably would have just ignored the comment, but I just replied to him. I'm like, where's the editing mistake? Well, what's wrong specifically with it? And he told me what was wrong specifically with it, and I took a look at it. It was an editing mistake, and I'll make sure to not make that mistake again. But I respond to criticism. So people, have something, to say to me, and not everybody giving you criticism has out for you. That's the thing is, there's something called constructive criticism, where people criticize you to help you improve.
I'm not worked up, dude. I'm just depressed. It's just...
You are in a very privileged position to be.
It's like, people ask me, like, well, why'd you take 2 days off? Because I hate fucking doing this. I hate streaming. Like, anytime I feel like I could get a little enough ahead that I don't have to stream, I try not to. 'Cause I'd rather lay in bed all day than do this. I'm not working out. Streaming anything in real life makes no money, Quacker. I mean, people saying, like, this is a bad look, but, like, I've gained 300 viewers and made almost $100 doing this shit. Like this is what makes the money. So they're talking about it. Light bill, phone bill, water bill, which
The electric bill, the internet bill, the condo fees, my mortgage, my taxes, my back taxes, my current taxes, my state taxes, my federal taxes, my tax attorney, my tax guy.
So this is and the guy who posted this video is posted at the end that exact same YouTuber again. I will link this video in the description if you guys want to watch this video specifically. This guy complaining about the $500 donation. But this isn't from his channel directly. The Scummy YouTuber. This is like another guy who re-uploaded the clip specifically here. But I'll just wrap it up with this guy is very privileged. He's in a very privileged position that he can do this for a living. That he can that he can stream, because honestly he's like, oh, I hate streaming. Well, who would want to go to a physical labor job versus streaming? I would rather stream. Honestly, I will tell you guys something. Like if I made like, $15 in an hour just streaming, just $15 an hour alone, I would do that full time versus going $15 to a physical labor job per hour. So this guy is extremely privileged that he's like, what, I made $100 in 300 views, stuff like that. That's still really good. Even making $100 on just one stream alone, that's still really good. So honestly, he's admitting, I hate my audience. I hate doing this. But enough of this guy. Let's watch the other two guys. This one here, we got a short clip. This one here. This is a Twitch streamer here.
My whole speech about how I need subs and to get this
I'm not familiar with her channel, though, so I don't really know what she does. The only thing I know about is this viral clip of her.
Stream going if you like the content, blah, blah, blah. How that results in 0 subs. There are regulars here. $5 a month. How do you have hours of time to watch me and not $5? I don't know. What are you doing with your life where you have hours of time to watch Twitch and not $5 to provide for the content that you're watching? Because it's like people just really really don't respect me as a content creator. Like,
where do I start with this? Like I said, the content is not free. You get money from the ads. And I don't do Twitch streaming, but I'm pretty sure Twitch has their own version of Google AdSense revenue. So they have their own ad revenue too. That's where these Twitch streamers get the majority of their money from, is these ads too. Donations help, sure, but they get plenty of money alone from this ad revenue. So the content isn't free. By your viewers coming to your stream, watching your stream, liking your stream, sharing the stream, they're helping the algorithm and helping you also get money from ads. When the ads pop up on your stream and your viewers watch it, they are actually helping you make money. So it's not that you haven't made $5 an hour. You probably already have made way more than $5 an hour just from the people watching the stream alone. And they don't have to donate to you. Imagine if somebody's like a new viewer and they're watching you the first time. So, they're going to watch you to see what kind of person you are. So they're not going to donate to you right away. And even if somebody's watching you for years, they still have no obligation to donate to you. Because anybody can, go on Twitch and watch Twitch. It's the exact same thing with YouTube. Anybody can go on YouTube and watch YouTube. You don't have to donate to them. So there literally is, nobody has an obligation to donate to you.
how are you consuming this free entertainment? Like, how do you think free entertainment is available to you? It's because other people actually provide money so you can be a cheap ass. That's it. Other people provide money because they're generous and they see like a thing that they want to support, a form of entertainment they want to support, and then you leech. But that's the reality of it, period. Period. If you're watching Twitch as a non-donating, non-sub, you are leeching. Does that mean that you should feel bad about it? I don't know. But the reality is,
I would ask her this. Has this woman ever watched TV before? Has she ever watched TV? Have you ever watched a TV show? Have you ever watched that? And have you donated to the cast of that TV show? Have you donated to the director of that TV show? They're providing you free content, aren't they? By having a TV show. Everybody has watched TV. Everybody has watched some form of TV show. So, literally, you can use that exact same argument for TV. Have you not watched TV before? Have you not watched like a TV show? Is that not free content? Why are you not donating to them? Are you leeching because you're watching like a TV show and you're not donating directly to the cast? No, because it's on TV. You watch the commercials. When your TV plays commercials, even if you don't watch the commercials, you are helping provide for that TV show. So the cast from that TV show gets paid. They get paid because the commercials that's on that channel. That channel wants them on their their TV show to be on their channel because people are gonna watch it, and so they put ads in between their TV show. Where do you think The Walking Dead's money comes from? It comes from all the ads and all the commercials that come in between. That's why you have all these fancy ads that come up in like something like The Walking Dead. Look at the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl. It's like, why do people like pay millions of dollars for ads on the Super Bowl? It's because so many people are watching it. And so that's how a lot of these football players and a lot of these other people are getting these companies providing these football tournaments and all this other stuff, these coaches. That's how they're getting paid. They're getting paid through the companies that are advertising these products specifically. So no, you are not leeching off of somebody by watching it. You're able to watch it. There's ads that come up. So you could use the exact same argument. You're leeching off of, football players by watching football and you're not directly donating to them. You're leeching off of TV shows. I'm leeching off The Walking Dead by watching The Walking Dead and not donating directly to the cast. It's just stupid. Nobody's entitled. You are not entitled to a donation. You're not entitled to that. People are going to give you a donation when they like your content and they like you as a person. They're not going to give you a donation just by you sitting there and $5 an hour, blah, blah, blah. Like, I honestly, I can't anymore with this. I'm done with this one. I can't keep watching this. The video, thank God the video's over because I can't handle this anymore.
Here's the deal. It doesn't really matter.
This is another streamer. She is from Twitch, I believe. I don't know anything about her channel. The only thing I looked up is I looked up greedy streamers and this came up.
matter how much money you make or how much money you have. That's really the thing, because I'm not asking you for a large financial contribution. If it cost $20 to sub, $20 is quite a bit of money. $20 is, you can get a full meal for $20. And the difference of $20 and eating a meal is in that $20. Like, that's where it is. But a sub is $5. At maximum, in whatever your currency is, it's maybe $10. And it doesn't matter how broke you are. If you have time to watch Twitch, you have $10, truly. If you don't have $10, you probably don't have time to watch Twitch because you should be working. You should be trying to earn money. It's not a ton. It's not like a ton of money. So being like, I'm broke, I can't afford to sub, that doesn't really track. What you mean to say is,
why aren't you working another job? If you can't afford your financial situation right now, why are you not working? Because I'll tell you why she's not working a job, like an actual physical job, working in a store, working in a warehouse, delivering food, whatever else. There's plenty of jobs out there. You know why she doesn't do that? Because the way she looks at it is like, that's below me. That's beneath me. I can't possibly work a 9-to-5 job. I can't do that. I can't. I'm too good for that. People are obligated to donate to me. You know who I am. I'm famous. I don't have to work in these places.
I'm so irresponsible with my money, I can't support the entertainment that I enjoy.
And there's one comment here that I know one of her moderators deletes it. Let's see if I can find the comment.
That's what that is. If I want to go see a movie, but I can't afford to pay for the ticket, I mean, you can just download it. You don't have to sub. You can just watch without supporting it. Absolutely. Absolutely. But if you...
Imagine telling somebody else what constitutes a large amount of money. Yeah, and that's the thing is, there are a lot of countries in the world where $5 is actually a lot of money. In the United States, $5 is not a lot of money. But in other parts of the world, $5 is a lot of money. And so there are probably people from all over the world, probably some poor countries that are watching her. And, they can't afford to even give that. They're going to watch, they're going to support her channel, they're going to, drop a like, they're going to watch the ads. But they can't support, giving her $5 a month, too.
If you can't afford to go see the movie in theaters, then you can't afford to go see the movie in theaters. It costs the same even if you're paying in a different currency. Oh. I'm unemployed, so basically all my money goes to bills and food, or I would support you. Yeah. It's $5. It's really, like, no one's gonna convince me that what I'm saying is so rude, or so unacceptable, or so outrageous. It just...
Imagine telling somebody that is unemployed that you can't convince me.
Simply isn't. It's $5.
You're lucky that you're able to, and the thing is though is I think that this clip, I think that a lot of these clips were, I don't remember the year this is recorded. Hold on. Okay, I checked. This was recorded around the around COVID. This was recorded in 2020. So imagine, she's very privileged, and I'm also very privileged that I was able to work. I was able to still do videos on YouTube. I was able to still provide for myself when so many people got fired because of COVID. People don't have the luxury that you have right here, and the fact that you can tell somebody who's unemployed that they can still donate $5, you're disgusting.
It doesn't cost you that much to sub, and it's very, very wonderful because it allows streamers to continue supporting their communities with content. That's all. I wasn't planning on subbing, but I heard you say that you weren't going to be eating beans for the rest of the month, so why not? Yeah, the beans. Guys, those beans are turning out really well, though. I was wondering, how much do you think society will change after all this ends? Society is constantly changing. Sometimes it is by leaps, sometimes it is by steps, it is incremental, sometimes it is large. We just can't know, and I have no idea, but it's fun to think about. That's so toxic, especially when people are losing their jobs. It really isn't. It really isn't toxic to ask for subs when you're streaming.
Yes, it is. Because I think that when I don't watch Twitch, but I think that when you sub, I think that you are giving money. Correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody confirm that in the comments. If you're like on YouTube and I tell people like in my videos, like if you enjoy my content, subscribe to me. It does help my channel a lot. Subscribing, you don't have to pay anything for it. But if you have to pay for a sub, like for this is no. That is so like yeah, this is the way she's just. And I hate her attitude. The way she's talking, she's like, I'm all high and mighty, I'm better than you. Like, that's just the way that she's talking specifically, like the tone that she has, I just hate it so much.
And if you believe it is, then I imagine that you simply don't understand how this platform works. And I encourage you to get more perspective.
I disagree. I think you can enjoy Twitch and not sub. Some people use it to wind down after work. Does that mean that person working and struggling shouldn't be allowed to watch Twitch? This person's 100% right.
Thank you, Tata Taru. Thank you. How many people do you have a paid sub for? How many people do I sub to? One. I sub to one person. They're my friend IRL. They are a very, very, very small streamer, and they deserve my sub every single month. And then other than that, I don't sub to anybody else myself. There are a ton of streamers that you could watch.
It's disgusting. There's people defending this in the comments too. Like some of these Twitch streamers and YouTubers have such a cult-like following that they will defend them no matter even the worst things they say.
It's not. Streamers ask for their viewers to sub every day. Yes. Do you watch other streams? No, not really.
Look at this. What are the benefits of subscribing? This is a perfect point that this person is asking right here. What is the benefits of subscribing? If you are gonna, offer some kind of, paid service for, your Twitch, your YouTube, and so forth, is you have to offer benefits. Like I said, my benefits that I offer my viewers is I do, 2 to 3, exclusive streams a month, and I release content. Usually every month I release some kind of, playthrough, walkthrough, some kind of video that I give either 1 week or 1 month early access, sometimes 2 weeks early access to. And also if my viewers ask for me to add them, I will add them. So that's, things that I can do for my members. And I always try to improve stuff. I'm always trying to add more stuff. And I also regularly communicate with my members too. So I will always try to, communicate with my members, try to offer something because, they're, doing a subscription to me for they're giving me money every single month. So I'm trying to provide some kind of service that I can for that. But if you're just, charging people just to watch your channel and you're not going to provide anything for that, that's stupid.
And what are the benefits of subscribing? There's a whole section that describes it to you just down below. There is a whole section to you just down below that describes all of the beautiful benefits of subbing.
Why don't you explain it instead of telling people to go and read it?
Oh my, so here we have some excellent 300 IQ comments from the Peanut Gallery. This conversation sucks. This is weird. Yikes.
The way she talks to people, we have some IQ comments from the Peanut Gallery. Ugh.
These are exquisite contributions to a very good conversation. And these people in chat who are making these comments do not appear as immature, childish cheapskates whatsoever.
You get ad money, good point here.
They're just sitting here masturbating as hard as they possibly can, as quietly as they can, because their parents are in the next room talking about how disappointed they are in them. And they're like, why would I ever pay for this when this slut's giving it away for free? You're right, buddy, you're right.
Look at what I noticed right here, guys. Look at this. From this guy. I think I decided just never to sub. Look at that. Look. It's gone. It's gone. Oh, man. Yep, she's, oh, man. That's just it. Her moderators are just as toxic as her. People call her out on that. And I noticed that there was something wrong with the chat. The chat was moving too quickly. I knew somebody had gotten banned here. So people are, people are oh, and look at this one. Wait, look. It's not toxic, but it's kind of douchey to say, if you can't afford to give me your money, it's because you're irresponsible. Look, watch his comment. Watch it. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. Yep, it is gone. What comment was he above? The ghost, here, and let's see. And I still see the ghost here. Yup. Wow, it's not toxic, but it's kind of douchey, and to say if you can't afford to give me money, it's because you're responsible, and he gets banned. Blocked right there. YouTuber that can't, or Twitch streamer, I should say, that cannot handle any kind of, can't handle any kind of criticism, too. I'm surprised this hyper guy didn't get, banned. It is, you shouldn't be guilt-tripping people, he's saying, but there's still one more video we're gonna watch here. Now take a look at this, guys. This is her apologizing, her apology. Let's just watch it here.
Hi. You're here right now because you've seen a clip of me, and you're very angry about what I said in that clip. And you're justified in your anger. What I said was tone-deaf, insensitive, and stupid. And I recognize that. I recognize that there is no context that I can give that would excuse what I said, so I won't. I can only own what I said, and I will. The clip that you saw does not represent my true feelings. I've streamed for hundreds of hours, and I've said, support communities after you support yourself first. Subscribe if you have the disposable income to do so. But in that clip, I expressed opinions that I do not hold at all. I said things that I don't mean, and they were vile. I recognize that.
She's only doing this because this video went viral and she got a lot of negative attention. A lot of people unsubbed from her after that. So she lost a lot of money because of that. That's why she's doing this right now. And the apology she's giving feels just so unnatural to me.
What I said was wrong in any context, but especially in the context of a global pandemic. It was very callous and inappropriate. I know that you've lost jobs. I know that you're afraid for your own security, and I know that what I said was incredibly hurtful and wrong. And I take responsibility for it. I won't try to make excuses, and I won't deny that what I said was awful. I want to talk to you. I want to hear your voices. I want to answer the questions that you have. And I want to be able to do it in the most responsible way possible.
If she was truly sorry, if she was, you know what she would do? She would disable her ads. And she would be like, I'm going to stream for like 2 or 3 months with no donations and no ads. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, you know, do it like, just like the people, like if she's trying to relate to the people who have been out of their jobs because of the pandemic. If you want to relate to the people that are out of their jobs because of the pandemic, that's what you do. You disable the ads on your channel to apologize, and you say to them, okay, I'm not going to, you know, I'm sorry for that comment that I made. I'm not going to, you know, have any ads in my videos for the next 3 months. You know, my streams, my videos, and so forth. Nope, not going to do that. This apology feels so fake to me. Yeah, it's
what I said in that clip. And you're justified in your anger.
Look at her eyes. She's not looking at the camera, too.
What I said was tone-deaf, insensitive, and stupid. And I recognize that. I recognize that there is no context that I can give that would excuse what I said, so I won't. I can only own what I said, and I will.
So notice how her eye contact here is. She says, like, you know, there's no excuse for what I did, but I will own to what I did. And then when she's like this, but then she's like, I will own what I did. And then she looks up at the camera right there. The reason she's looking away from the camera is because when people do this, when they don't keep, you know, direct eye contact with you, what that typically means is that they're making something up. So like they're trying to say something that's not true. So if they're like looking at the floor and they're saying this, and then like right when they're about to finish their statement, they're like looking at you to keep eye contact. They can't keep eye contact directly with you. So, you know, that's a massive sign of a lie, even when people are doing it on a camera, too. So, like, she can't even, you know, I'm assuming this is during a stream, or, you know, it's live when she's recording this, too, but just the fact that she's just looking away and then looks right at the camera right when she's about to finish her statement, it just personally tells me that she's not sorry. Just the tone that she's giving me is that she's not sorry. The only reason she's apologizing now is because she just lost so many viewers and so many people unsubscribed because of this. If people never started unsubscribing, that video never went viral, she would have never apologized over this. But literally, it's like, how greedy can you possibly be that during a pandemic, when people are like, people are out of work, that you are going to sit there and you are going to, demand donations, try to guilt trip them into donations. Oh, even if you're unemployed, you can give me $5. It's not that much. I know you might not have enough to pay the bills, but you can still give me $5. You're watching my content for free. Oh my God. But that's pretty much it for this, guys. I will wrap up this video here. I know it's been a long video here, long one. But I just wanted to, react to a lot of these YouTubers basically talk about it. But basically it ultimately summarizing my points is nobody is obligated to give you a donation. These scummy YouTubers, they think that they're entitled to a donation. They complain about their financial situations. They complain that they're getting demonetized. They complain that they don't have money. But if you don't have money, if you're in a bad financial situation, why are you not working another job? Why don't you go and, get a 9-to-5 job like everybody else? Why are you not doing that? There's warehouse jobs you can get. There's stores that you can get. There is, like DoorDash or Uber Eats. There are other things that you can do. But no, because it's too good for them. It's too good for these Twitch streamers and these YouTubers. Doing another job, doing any physical labor it's too much for them. That's below them. They shouldn't have to do something like that. They're gonna, sit there and say, it's my viewers. They're the ones who have to give me donations. They have to give me money. But that's pretty much it. Remember what I said, guys, is if a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer ever says, you gotta give me donations because you're giving me free content, you tell them this. No, you're not giving me free content because I'm watching ads and you're making money through my ad revenue. So even if I don't donate to you, that's I'm still helping you make money. And for anybody who has, apologized to me in the past for not donating, please stop apologizing. It's perfectly fine. I will never get pissed off at somebody for not donating. And you don't have to donate to me for me to like you, for me to be your friend, for me to even respond to your comments. Like I respond to comments on videos all the time. I'll respond to a bunch of comments on this video too. So literally, is just don't feel like you have to donate to me for me to respond to your comments or for me to like you too. That's just these YouTubers, these Twitch streamers, like I said, they have given a bad name to a lot of other people in the industry, and that's basically it. There's a lot of people, YouTubers and Twitch streamers, who are honest and they're just trying to create good content for their viewers, but then you have people like this and the other, Twitch streamers, the other YouTubers who guilt trip their audience, treat their audience basically like absolute garbage, absolute crap, and then have the nerve to demand their audience for donations. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.